Two of the hottest .380 subcompact pistols on the market right now are Ruger's LCP Max and the newly introduced Smith Wesson Bodyguard 2.0. Ruger's has been on the market for years and remains perennially popular. S&W's is a brand new remix of the innovative but ill-fated Bodyguard 380. Each has its fans, but which one is the best for you? Keep watching, and I'll be taking you through a thorough breakdown of the stats, pros, and cons of each. We'll get right into it below. Construction and action. No surprises when it comes to construction. Both the LCP Max and the Bodyguard 2.0 are polymer-framed handguns. The former has an alloy steel slide and barrel, while the latter has a full stainless steel slide and barrel. The actions, however, are different. The LCP Max is a DAO hammer-fired gun, while the Bodyguard 2.0 is striker-fired. In purely prosaic terms, this doesn't make a ton of difference in terms of the shooting experience, because both guns have a manual of arms that is basically identical, and even the triggers are very comparable in terms of pull. Both clock in at just under 4 pounds, according to my gauge, with the Ruger trigger having a little more stacking throughout the pull, while the S&W is smoother until it hits a defined and definite wall prior to the break. I would rate both triggers, out of the box, as adequate and entirely usable. Caliber and capacity. As mentioned, both pistols are chambered in .380 ACP, and standard capacity for both is 10+1. The Bodyguard 2.0, though, comes with a slightly extended 12-round magazine, yielding a total capacity of 13 if you top off. The LCP Max has 12-round magazines available as an option, but they aren't included with the base gun. That's a bit of a letdown too, because the overall gripping surface on the LCP Max is somewhat shallower than the Bodyguard 2.0, and it can benefit from a pinky extension. Nonetheless, it's out there as an option if needed or desired. Dimensions and weight. Both of these slim, trim subcompact pistols are about as lean as it can get with this kind of capacity. The Bodyguard 2.0 comes with an overall length of 5.5 inches, a height of 4 inches, and a width that is just 0.88 inches at its widest point. Very impressive. But the LCP Max is even smaller overall, though not by much. Overall length is 5.2 inches, with a height of 4.1 inches. The width is incredibly trim, measuring just 0.81 inches at its widest point. It doesn't sound like much, and it's not, but I promise you it's noticeable when you're carrying the gun right next to your body or in your pocket. Surprisingly, the Bodyguard 2.0 is slightly lighter than the LCP Max, with an unloaded weight of 9.8 ounces compared to the 10.6 ounces of the Ruger. It's tough to tell the difference though, especially when the guns are loaded. If a lightweight pistol is what you are after, either will serve admirably. Controls. Looking at the controls of both guns, we start to see some noticeable differences. The Bodyguard 2.0 has a flat-faced trigger with integrated trigger safety as expected these days, a modestly sized slide release, and a magazine release, which is reversible. That would be at home on a larger service gun. A manual thumb safety, located at the rear of the frame, is available as an option if desired. The control configuration of the LCP Max is identical in function, but the design ethos is very different. The curved trigger shoe has a trigger safety built in just the same, but the slide release is located farther to the rear compared to the Bodyguard 2.0 and is significantly lower profile, as is the magazine release. When it comes to running the gun, the Bodyguard 2.0 has a definite advantage, but I can see the LCP Max being less prone to inadvertent activation in certain circumstances, especially if carried in a pocket. All in all, I like shooting and running the Bodyguard 2.0 significantly more than the LCP Max because of the ergonomics of the controls, but I don't struggle with the LCP Max either. The configuration of both pistols is user-friendly and amenable to quick, sure operation. There's more to investigate in our comparison of the Smith Wesson Bodyguard 2.0 and Ruger LCP Max. But before we move on, do me a big favor and take a moment to hit like, subscribe, and the notification bell. Those 3 clicks help us out here on the channel, more than you know. And by doing so, you can rest easy knowing you won't miss even a single one of our upcoming videos. Thanks a bunch! Sights. This head-to-head is turning into a case of dueling banjos, if you ask me, because these guns are so close in so many ways as to be functionally identical. It's no different when it comes to sighting options. Right up front, neither gun has a provision for mounting a red dot if you care about that, though that is no disadvantage as far as I'm concerned on guns this small. The Ruger has a generously proportioned plain black notch rear, complemented by a green tritium front night sight with a big bold white outline. The rear sight is also aggressively swept to the front and flat-faced to facilitate one-handed charging or malfunction clearance. The Bodyguard 2.0 compares very favorably with the same configuration. It has a wide, square notch rear, plain black as before, with a flat front that can facilitate one-handed manipulations. The front tritium night sight, though, has a bold orange outline instead. Both sets of sights are excellent, and these guns are tied, though I'm starting to prefer a contrast color front sight for easy pickup as my eyes age. I don't think you can go wrong with either gun in this regard. Disassembly. Disassembly of both guns is straightforward, easy, and as anticipated for pistols that use Browning-style lockup. However, in my opinion, the Bodyguard 2.0 has a clear lead in the LCP Max. To disassemble the Bodyguard 2.0, you start by verifying that the gun is unloaded and clear, locking the slide to the rear, rotate the takedown lever on the left side of the frame to the 6 o'clock position, let the slide forward and pull the trigger to release the slide assembly from the frame. From there, pop out the captive twin spiraling recoil guide rod assembly, drift out the barrel, and you are done. Reassembly is the reverse. The LCP Max comes apart the same way, but instead of a rotating lever, you have a removable pin holding everything together. It's easy to remove, as all you need is a small flat-bladed screwdriver, the edge of a case rim, or a similar tool, and it pops right out. After that, the slide will drift right off, and you can remove the recoil spring assembly and barrel as before. Though I should note that the twin recoil springs are not captive on the LCP Max. Simply enough, it's just not as straightforward and effortless to accomplish as it is on the Bodyguard 2.0, and there's always a chance that you could lose that little bitty pin, and then your gun is going to be out of action. Smith & Wesson fans probably noticed already that the new Bodyguard 2.0 disassembles exactly like the M&P family of pistols, minus the necessity of swinging down that little lever at the top of the mag well. Is this a deal breaker? No, not at all, but I do prefer the Bodyguard 2.0. Handling. Looking at the tail of the tape on paper, these guns might as well be identical twins, but the intangible stuff makes a big difference in this case. When handling one or the other side by side, you'll notice two things right away. The bore of the LCP Max rides much higher above your hand, and the front strap is a lot shorter. As mentioned above, your pinky is going to hang off the bottom of the LCP Max unless you spring for the extended 12-round magazine. The high bore offset and feathery lightweight of the gun also contribute to some fairly snappy recoil. In stark contrast, the Bodyguard 2.0 allows a full, if crowded, grip even with the standard magazine, and the included extended 12-rounder makes it more comfortable to hold and shoot even for folks with big meat hooks. However, the proportions of the backstrap change this calculus a little bit for both guns. If you do have really big hands, the LCP Max gives you a far more generous standoff that can likely prevent slide bite. Even though the Bodyguard 2.0 has an extended beaver tail, the flesh of the web of the hand might prove to be uncomfortably close to the reciprocating slide. Is this a problem for you? Maybe, maybe not. But spending some time to handle each, and if possible shoot them, will tell the tale. Again, neither is a deal breaker concerning the quality or usability of the guns. They are just different. Something else to note is that the scalp slide serrations on the Bodyguard 2.0 are significantly more aggressive and provide a better grip compared to the Ruger. Again, this is a benefit for fast and sure manipulations, but those serrations might chafe at your skin or clothing too, depending on the mode of carry. The LCP Max, though, has protuberances at the rear of the slide in the form of shallow wings or ears, somewhat akin to those you'll see on H&K's VP9 pistols, to provide a better hold at the rear without the risk of shedding pocket linings or flesh. Price. Once again, both of these guns are neck and neck. The Bodyguard 2.0 series has an MSRP of $449, while the LCP Max has an MSRP of $479. As is typical, you'll usually find the Ruger for a lot cheaper than that in the wild. But the S&W is so new that it is being sold at or very close to MSRP as of this video being uploaded. I expect that price will come down in the following months. But regardless, both pistols occupy the same price category, effectively. If you're waiting for the price tag to make your choice for you, your choice might wind up being more difficult than you anticipated. Bottom line. So which of these great pocket pistols should you get? Honestly, and I know people don't like to hear wishy-washy answers like this, but as far as I'm concerned, you could flip a coin. Both of these guns shoot well, are plenty accurate enough, and have proven reliable with a variety of loads in my limited testing. Ultimately, I think the deciding factor for folks is going to boil down to ergonomics. If you can deal with your pinky hanging off the bottom of the gun, I think the smoother shape and serrations of the LCP Max lend itself a little bit better towards truly deep carry or pocket carry. The Bodyguard 2.0 recoils softer and gets back on target just a little bit quicker owing to its lower bore axis, and it does have a thumb safety available as an option if desired. In all other regards, these guns are truly tied, and I don't think you'll go wrong with either of them. Whether you are a Ruger fan or a Smith Wesson hardliner, either will prove to be a great addition to your carry rotation. And that's all I've got for this head-to-head video. The LCP Max and the Bodyguard 2.0 are excellent subcompact pistols that could be perfect as a deep cover gun or an EDC option if you're going to dress slick. But I want to know what your preference is and why. Are you going with the Ruger LCP Max or the S&W Bodyguard 2.0? Tell me about your choice down in the comments. And before you go, remember to hit like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any upcoming content here on All About Survival. That's a wrap from me today, but I look forward to catching you in the next video. Take care.